What's up, comic and pop culture fans? Today we're going over the Hawkgirl Premium Format exclusive by Sideshow. And it arrived 5 days late. It arrived broken. But we're here now, and we're going to give it a fair review. First up, guys, if you're new to the channel, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and like and comment below. We're getting kind of close to 500 subscribers. Once we hit 500, we're going to enter a raffle. The first place winner is going to get a Batman vs. Killer Croc statue. Second place is going to get a Ragman CGC 9.8. And our third place is going to get a Titans Batarang. Hawkgirl is a DC Comics character introduced in 1940 by Gardner Fox and Dennis Neville, and her first appearance was actually in Flash Comics #1. She was recreated and given the name Hawkgirl, also by Gardner Fox, but this time with Joe Kubert in 1961 with Brave and the Bold issue 34, highlighting her Silver Age appearance. And the Hawkgirl we know today was really created in 1999 by Steven Sadowski and David Goyer in the JSA Secret Files and Origins. Hawkgirl is an alien, and her and her husband Hawkman are from the planet Thanagar. Hawkgirl's powers are connected to something called the Ninth Metal, which you can actually see that her belt and mace are made out of this, and it's what gives her her powers. The Ninth Metal has made a significant comeback in recent comics, if you've been reading the Dark Knight's Metal series and the Dark Knight's Death Metal series. Our first category is going to be the base, but before we get into that, let me talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, it is broken. Her neck area is all chipped, so I do have to send it back. I guess you'll see at the end of the review if I like it or not. Am I going to get a replacement, or am I just going to get my money back? Alright, so let's talk about this base here. I actually think it's pretty strong, and you guys know that I'm loving the minimal footprint. You can, if it weren't for the ridiculous wingspan, you could fit this thing into anywhere. And I do totally buy the Thanagarian hawk that's there, and the rubble. It looks like her home world. It looks like her country. The colors are good. I just do think it's kind of a bit one-toned. Like, we could use a little bit more dashes of some other colors in there, but hey. Alright guys, so we're going to give that base an 8 out of 10. So let's pan up here. One of the strongest parts of the statue is the frickin' boots, man. Look at the detail on that fabric. It's not actually fabric. It is all sculpt. I love that color on that red. It's awesome. They nailed the boots. I almost feel like they should have taken some of their time that they put on the boots and used it elsewhere, but hey. You go up the leg, it's a nice green, a very like almost, I guess you could say olive green. The wings look good, however, you'll notice in this, they look a little plasticky, and they are plastic to the touch, and I could have used a little more definition in the wings, maybe a little bit more feathers popping out, that sort of thing. There is an unfortunate seam line from the wings where they meet the back, but the anatomy in the midsection is one of the best parts of the statue. The abs, the breast area, and the skin tones were perfect in this statue. So this statue really does a lot of things right. I also love the Ninth Metal mace. And if you look, it's kind of got like a hawk grip on it. I think that's pretty sweet. Could have used a little more definition in the fingers there, for sure. Now, unfortunately, I hate that head sculpt. With her lip popping out, it looks anatomically incorrect. There's a huge gap with her nose to her upper lip. It juts up and outward awkwardly. Her eyes are very small and close together. And there's my breakage around the neck there. Yeah, I really hate this head sculpt. Also, the helmet was too big. And it's got like a SpongeBob yellow where it needed really more of like a golden. So that's a huge miss for me.
Here's the better head sculpt. I would even say by a lot, actually. The only problem is it's not super distinguishable as Hawkgirl, but it does look really good. A little overuse of eyeshadow, though. My problems with the statue are definitely more with the colors and the sculpt of this. The paint actually is very solid, and I applaud them for it.
Okay guys, so for the sculpt, we're going to knock it. We're going to give it a 6 out of 10. While it seems like I'm nitpicking, get it in person, those little tiny problems are actually really annoying. The paint, however, is very solid. I'm going to give it a respectable 8 out of 10. The colors, unfortunately, I feel like they're a little bit wrong. I think a more golden yellow was more appropriate. Because of that, I'm going to actually give it a 7 out of 10 for colors. Here's where this statue gets into some trouble with design and pose. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it gets into trouble with design, because the design is solid. It goes into this base well. It actually took some nice engineering in order to get this to work, because she's at a funky angle. It's really strange, and it's just a one peg going into here. Interestingly, the weight feels top heavy, but how they position the body, it's angled back to create a more center surface of gravity. So it was actually really smart and clever. However, does it work? Yeah. She is actually a wider wingspan than you'd think. Because of this particular pose, she really is so contorted to the side that she, once again, kind of like how the cheetah review I just did the other day, you gotta display her in only like a couple spots once again. So that can be a little tricky. I thought she was going to look good next to Jon Stewart. I didn't dig it at all. I thought she was kind of covering him with her wings because they're both kind of doing that same, they're facing the same direction. So it actually doesn't work. It would have been better if they were faced opposite directions. So what I thought I was going to do with it, I can't really do with it. It's not the statue's fault. It's, you know, it just kind of is what it is. But I do think we are going to knock it just because it's a little bit tough to display. Actually, you can display this a little bit low. It doesn't have to be displayed high, which I guess is refreshing. I feel like the last few ones I've got in have to be displayed high. This one can be displayed low, and that's kind of nice. So guys, maybe I was wrong. I think we're going to give the design a 10 out of 10. So good job for them for creating this. The pose, however, is going to be a 7 out of 10 for me. It's just a little bit awkward, a little bit all over the place. All right, you know my favorite category is always coolness and likability. And I actually think this statue is really cool, but the likeness is off. It is really cool. I do love how it incorporates her homeworld in the base. You know, she's very visibly flying. It's incredibly dynamic. The colors do pop, even though I think they were the wrong choice. I could have used a little bit more pop in the wings to really make it look like they're not just a piece of plastic or something. A couple things in this statue look a little cheap, so that hurts the coolness. However, the pop of it does allow it to be a solid 9 out of 10 coolness. But we're gonna have some issues with the likability here because of that absolutely ridiculous Stephen King Neanderthal massive design flaw where they have the nose ending here and then there's a massive drop before the upper lip. The upper lip juts out kind of awkwardly. It like dips up. It doesn't look anatomically correct at all. Her eyes are too small. They're too close together. So honestly, if I get a replacement of the statue, I will never be displaying it with that head sculpt, and that's a problem because if you don't have that head sculpt, sure, she's got the wings, but that doesn't scream Hawkgirl to me. Even though I think this is the better head sculpt, it's a little bit of a shame that I can't display her with the Hawkgirl head sculpt. So that's a major miss. She kind of looks like Red Sonja or someone else, you know. Doesn't necessarily have to be Hawkgirl now with this head sculpt. So, guys, we're going to give the likeness a 4 out of 10. The one thing about the statue that is a good thing, there's a lot of good things. I am nitpicking, remember, and this is my personal opinion. But one thing I did enjoy is the fact that it is in scale. It is an accurate quarter scale. She's not oversized. She's not undersized. She does have an awkward wing deepness to her. And that wing is a little bit wide, more awkward than you'd think. It makes you have to display her behind pieces. You can't display her in front because from other angles that wing covers them up. Kind of a major problem. But she is an accurate quarter scale. She's just a little bit wonky in her pose, which we talked about before. So for proportions, we're going to go ahead and give her a 7 out of 10. Last up, we're going to talk about the price. And this gal was over $600. I think it was about $630. And while some things really work, I think the torso looks great. You know, the arms look good. The skin tones are really nice. The hair has been greatly perfected. The wings look good. They could use a little bit additional shading, certain things here and there that we've already talked about. I think the overall quality is not a $600 statue. So unfortunately, I don't agree with the price at all. With the amount of flaws I've found, and again, I'm not even talking about the fact that mine was broken. I'm not factoring that in at all. Just purely looking at just this, I'm almost like, remind me, how did I pay over $600 for this? And I think with shipping in, it was like $700. So I don't think it's totally justified. I have more issues with this than I thought I would. And I didn't love it from the pictures, but sometimes that doesn't matter because sometimes things look good outside of the pictures. But this one came in and I think it actually looks worse than the pictures led me to believe. So we're going to give the price a 6 out of 10. Okay, so you guys have seen me do some statues lately that I've just drooled over. And I think this statue and Cheetah, the last one I reviewed, are kind of proof that I don't love everything. And not everything stays in the collection. If you don't love it, you should just sell it and move on. There maybe will be a custom piece in the future of Hawkgirl that I like even better. I think this is a great option for certain people. I just think that I have a lot more higher qualities in this room, and at that price tag, I demand a higher quality out of my product. So I will be returning this. And I'm not getting another one. At this point, I do just want my money back. All respect to the creative team on this piece. It's a good statue. It's good, maybe even very good, but I don't think it's great. And it just doesn't fit my needs personally. So I think that the fact that it was broken might have been a blessing in disguise. So I'm going to talk to Sideshow tomorrow. They have the best customer support in the world. They'll straighten me out. But other than that, guys, stay tuned because I'm going to be trying to drop that Mr. Freeze review very soon. That was another one that was supposed to come last week. So I'm really excited to do that review. Spoiler alert on that one. I'm a lot happier with that Freeze statue than I am with this one. But, you know, they can all be zingers. So, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning into my review. I'm sorry if I bummed you out too much on this one. There's plenty of other reviews where people drool all over this piece. So, you can go enjoy those ones. But, this was my take on it. So, thank you so much for stopping by, and keep on collecting.